Where have all the mortgage jobs gone? Wolf Richter from Wolf Street had a great article recently titled Housing Bubble and Bust Number One and Number Two as Seen Through Employment at Mortgage Lenders. And the gist of the article is from peak market to today, the lending jobs have shrank by 38%, meaning 38% of the workforce has exited the mortgage space. Now, in his article, he really focused on independent mortgage banks, but he also touched on federal depositories as well as brokers, and the statistics are about the same. We've lost a little bit over a third of our workforce to today. And his article had some really interesting statistics. I'm going to show you some of the charts and graphs. And man, Wolf does great. Has great writing, great content, has a free newsletter. He probably has some of the best content every single day for people like you and I. And so if you get a chance, check him out. I'll put a link below to this article. You can always subscribe for free. But let's get back to the article. So in it, he talked about, he kind of talked about mortgage lending size and the market size. And some of the statistics that caught my eye is that the top two lenders, which are, of course, United Wholesale Mortgage and Rocket, are larger than the next 8 lenders combined. That's right. So the top 2 lenders are larger than the next 8 lenders combined. And then the top 10 lenders account for 26% of the overall mortgage originations in 2024. So the top 10 control 26%. And that's very much like we've been talking in my previous post about the vital few and the trivial many, which is similar to Pareto's principle. So we know that the business is pretty concentrated, and that dominates employment. And so what we've seen is that we go through these big bubbles where we get big up cycles, and we're talking there 2005, 2006, 2007 to the bust, right? Which was not, it wasn't a bubble, it was a bust for all sorts of reasons. I guess it was a bubble. But then we just saw it again with this 2020 and 2021. And I'm going to show you because Wolf does this better than I can explain it to you. Here's Wolf's article right here. You can see it, but look at this. This right here is employees at non-banks. These are IMBs in thousands, but we get into this peak here at that 2006, 2000, 2008, and then crash, bang. And then we had this big peak again during the COVID, right? And we got way up to here, and then we crashed even further, right? Employment went down even further, down 38%, right? And there's a couple interesting things looking at this chart. First, notice how we actually did far more volume in 2022 than we did in 2008. Yet we had far fewer employees. You know why that is? Technology and other efficiencies. So we needed fewer people to do more business. And so that's part of the decline. It's not just market driven. It's not that we've gone to 4.3 trillion to whatever we're going to do 2 trillion this year. It's not that necessarily that. It's also we're much more efficient. We figured out how to do our business using technology and other efficiencies. We just don't need as many people. Now, if you look at this chart here, you notice that we hit this bottom here last year, and we actually saw a pickup in hiring coming into the year, that January, February, because we had such high hopes. Rates were going to come down. All this pent-up demand for housing. We're going to just see a much stronger market than we're seeing this year. But I think lenders, especially as they struggle with profitability, they're starting to go, oh my gosh, this profitability problem, these squeezed margins are going to continue, so we have to be a little bit more conservative in our hiring. So in Wolf's article, he goes on and he has quite a few good statistics here. So one of the things that I think too, we can't hide from the fact volume had an impact because home sales have dropped from home sales from 2019 to 2020, from 2019 to 2024 are down 40%, about 40%, right? And the same thing, so home sales, let me restate that. Home sales are down 24% in 2019 to 2024, but applications are down 44%, right? And so that's a challenge. We have not only done dramatically less business, but we're also investing now in technology and not people. And so we've seen 38% of our workforce leave. And my guess is that this is going to probably continue. Now, here's what my encouragement is to everybody. Focus on what you can control. Be as valuable as you can be, and you'll be in the workforce, no matter what you do. Whether you're an underwriter, a processor, you're the receptionist. If you're great, your job is fairly secure. If you're valuable, your job is secure. And even if your job wasn't secure, you would have a job someplace. So just be part of the vital few. I talked about this in my post 2 days ago. The vital few, those are the critical people. The trivial many, they're at risk. And so make sure you're part of the vital few. Make sure you're controlling what you're controlling. Make sure you're doing outstanding at whatever your job is. And this won't apply to you. But if you just are punching the clock and not working hard, and you're not leaning into your company objectives, you're not adding value, you could be next. And I don't want that for anybody. We should all be productive and contribute. It's an interesting article. Check out Wolf. Wolf writes great stuff. Just check him out. I'll put a link to his article below. I do quite a bit I feature his articles a lot on LinkedIn. I feature articles like this on LinkedIn. Check me out if you could. With that, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time. Hope you had a great day. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks.